So just for clarification's sake, is the 12 days of Christmas the first 12 days of December? Or is it the 12 days leading up to Christmas? Or is it the 12 days after Christmas? That's something I'm kind of concerned about. Because that's what's going to decide whether today is either not a day of Christmas at all, or if it's like well, either way, on a cool, unfortunately snowless Thursday night, exactly 1 week before Christmas, I'm getting a gift early. Right? I'm opening one gift early. That's a gift to myself. Tell me, what kind of gift do you think I'm about to get tonight? Did you guess an insane chest pump? You would be freaking right. You would be more than right. So, a chest pump plus a little bit of extra cardio afterward. So currently, the cardio routine is an hour in the morning. Nothing crazy, but 30 minutes on the bike, 30 minutes on the treadmill. I'm adding some sauna action. Not because the sauna magically burns fat or anything, but I just kind of like it. Gives me a good sweat. Just feels good. But not even sure that's enough. So now, except for leg days, post-workout is going to be 30 minutes on the bike as well. Or maybe actually, no, I think I meant to say I'm going to do 15 minutes on the bike, 15 minutes on the treadmill. Nothing crazy, but these, I was about to say hours, but actually, yeah, I guess we're getting into the hour range. But these minutes of cardio throughout the day, even if they're not the most strenuous thing in the world, they can add up pretty substantially. So for some guys, they really love tracking their steps, like making sure you hit a certain amount of steps per day when they're dieting, or just in general, like that's their sort of value that they aim for. With me, I kind of feel like you're right, to walk an extra, or to make sure you walk like 10,000 steps that day. You definitely did burn a certain, excuse me. You definitely did burn a certain amount of calories, but I don't know. For me at least, and this is just a personal preference thing, it feels better for me to say, okay, I'm doing cardio. I want to do this cardio specifically. I want to do. There we go. I want to do this cardio on a specific time. I want to do 30 minutes of cardio. I did my cardio right then. It's over with. So for whatever reason, that just makes more sense to me. But I just derailed myself messing with the light. But either way, I'm sorry for the yawns too. I've only eaten about 1,300 calories so far today. Actually, I think even less, only 1,100. I'm starting to feel the fatigue from getting into a reasonably steep deficit, which that's just the nature of it. So as the caffeine that I took in the pre-workout begins to hit me, and once I actually get into the gym, I got my music playing, that tiredness will be gone, and then the lift can start, right? But it's what was I about to say? I feel like I was getting on track to say some kind of thing, and now it's gone. Well, maybe that's a good indicator. We should just quit yapping altogether. So how about we just jump straight to whatever set number 1 ends up being for chest, which I'm not sure, but I've got reason to believe it might be incline Smith machine bench. But who's to say? I guess we're gonna find out together. I lied. Let's start with some Urs style flies first. Flip chest upside down from how I normally start it. Oh my God, okay. Ooh. Two more like that, I think. Boy. Oh my God. Okay. Oh my God. Yeah. One more. Then I think it'll be good for some incline Smith. Yeah. So one more here. This one I might make a little nastier toward the end, but awesome start. Very different from the typical fatigue of like, starting with a heavy set of something. But I always start with heavy pressing, right? Why do I want to do the same exact workout every time? So that's half the benefit here. It's just different than what I normally do. All right, come on. All right. Oh, yeah. Okay. Holy crap. Oh. Yeah, okay. Now let's go do some pressing. Those three hit me freaking hard. Smith machine occupied. So let's do some of this chest press. I don't mind this one. It's not like my favorite, but again, in the spirit of changing things up, I don't normally do it. So heavy straight set, nothing fancy. Okay. Oh, crap. Holy crap. One more. But I gotta go a little bit lighter in the beginning. Full stack is, especially after those 3 sets of flies in the beginning, too heavy. That was a good one though. I'll make these a little quicker too. Okay. Ooh. I'm not done. Let's make that a rest pause. One more. Oh. Okay. Oh, that's enough of that. I'm not sure what to move on to next, but chest is nearly done. Moderate weight, but enough where I'll really feel it on the squeeze portion. So this will be reasonably controlled, and there may be a superset for the next one, or if this is it, then I'm cool with that too. Like, my end goal is not do 10 sets, do 6 sets. It's get pumped satisfactorily, wreck whatever muscle I'm hitting in however many sets that takes. And so it's not a number, it's more of a state of being. Yeah. 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 What the fuck was that? Oh, okay. Oh, goodness. All right, let's change it up. Finish with one superset of regular and decline flies. I don't know what that jump was, but didn't hurt myself, so that's good. But one more, then we can post out. Okay, so classic finisher for me. Straight in front of the body flies. I'm going to try to get as little front delt activation as possible, but squeeze a lot of upper chest. And then when I basically reach failure, or at least a close approximation, rack it, drop the weight by about half, and then instead of flies here in front of me, going for more of this sort of big upward stretch. And then, even though it's kind of a decline movement, I'm feeling like I'm squeezing my entire chest at the bottom portion, because I may as well just be sitting here doing like a most muscular, right? So when I feel my chest right here from squeezing like this, sure, lower pec's firing, but I feel it all the way up here to my collarbone. So this would be a good one. Now I just have to go nuts and fill my pecs with as much blood as possible. Come on. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Come on. Okay. All right. Let's go find some airspace. So that was what? 3 sets of flies, 2 sets of machine press, 1 set of cable press, and then a finisher set of cable flies. So 7 total sets. Sounds about right to freaking me. So honestly, I think I'm fully pumped. It just kind of sucks because some days I would never call it a wash, but especially carb depleted, flat, you could probably argue slightly under recovered. It can be a little tricky getting fully, pumped to the same level as like when I'm bulked like crazy. But this should still be reasonably freaky pump wise. The fuck is that? Must have got scratched on something. But let's see how we're looking. So this morning, especially after cardio plus the sauna, ab veins are beginning to appear. Nothing like, nothing too crazy, but I'm just talking about like real subtle, just vascularity creeping up here. So as I continue to get leaner, my whole torso should just get freakier step it up. Well, I don't have to explain that part. That should be pretty obvious. But let's Let's run through a couple here. Holy crap. Even just sitting here holding these poses, especially post lift, is getting my ass out of freaking breath. But let's see, that's pretty much all there is chest posing wise. So decently freaky. I think nothing else to say. Let's just get out of here, get back in the car. There we go. There we freaking go. Chest complete. I would say that was a good lift. I would not call that a insanely 10 out of 10 crazy lift, but I'd say it was pretty good. And the reason why I kind of bring the bar down that low is half because I don't know, just a performance thing. I mean, when you're running low on carbs, you're running low on fats. I've had 25 grams of fat so far today. I was just looking at the macros. My current intake so far, 100 grams of carbs, so that puts me at 400 calories of carb-based calories. 25 grams of fat, so that's putting me at 225, so 6, and then about 130 of protein. So I'm only at like 1,200 calories for the day. That's not a ton. I've had... I don't even like to say it like this. I've had single meals that are like 1.5 times as much food as I'm eating right now across the entire day. Oh my goodness. But that's all right. That is a-okay. The fact that it's hard is what makes it cool. So don't worry. You're not gonna see one of these uploads and it's like, I don't really feel like dieting anymore. We'll just be done with it. Don't worry. That would, that's an alternate freaking universe. But there is definitely an added difficulty, which is it's just different than the bulking, like bulking up. And in the beginning, it's not too tricky either way. Like, it's not hard to go a few weeks with no treats. Once a few months have begun to pass, you start to have a dream that you're eating Krispy Kreme, or you've got like a bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch in front of you, and then you wake up and there's a freaking illusion. That's when you're really getting into it. But once you've really gotten to the point where it's getting hard, bulking up or cutting down, they each just come with their own difficulties. And it's kind of crazy how like exactly inverted they are, which would make sense. I mean, obviously, if you're dieting down, you're going to want to eat more food, and if you're bulking up, you're going to get sick of eating so much food. But that's something that I don't mind. Like, I don't mind a very stark contrast between, okay, I'm bulking right now, let's bulk up, let's put on weight. I don't care if I get a little bit softer, because it's for the overall, or the overarching goal of getting bigger, right? Developing muscularly. And then dieting down, I don't care if it's going to cut into my strength in the gym, or if some of my pumps are going to diminish a little bit, or if I got to deal with the fact that I'm a little bit hungrier and I got to be a bit smarter about what I'm eating, because it's for the overarching goal of getting leaner. And I think it's kind of like having a double-edged sword in a good way. Usually that phrase is supposed to be negative, but how I look at it is like, if I bulk up for long enough and hard enough, then I made substantial gains, and I am done bulking. So I'm ready to start dieting down. I'm ready to get into a deficit or ease into a deficit. And then I'll diet down enough to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm lean enough. I've peeled off some of the excess fat that I've gained over the last bulking phase, maintained a good chunk of the muscle underneath. Now I'm ready to fill back up. So it's like a yin and yang, you know. It's a good pendulum in and out of the tides, because, or not because, but that gets me motivated, because I know that no matter what time of year it is, I'm always on track towards something specific. Now, if you're working out in general, you go to the gym consistently 4 or 5 times a week, you're making sure you hit your protein every day, and then you get like a multivitamin gummy every night, that's like 70% of it, honestly. You know, or at least 60% easy. You know, and then, you know, try to train hard, of course, but just having that routine in place is already putting you ahead of well, not even so many, just everybody who's not even, you know, bringing it that hard. But what I was getting ready to say was, crap, what was I getting ready to say? Okay. Go to the gym. Yeah, oh yeah, so even if I've got like long-term goals for my fitness, right, the bodybuilding side of things, and like getting up in like the 285 range, or I mean, I used to say this as a joke, but now it's like a 290-pound peak bulk. That's not a question of if, that's only a question of when at this point. But, you know, even though those are like my kind of overarching, like long-term sort of things, in just short scales of a few months, like I'm only going to be dieting for another 2.5 months or so, and then I'm going to be back to bulking. So I'm on track for my long-term goals, but boiled down, I've got some goals that I want to hit right freaking now. And then boil those down even further to a day-by-day basis. My goal is, okay, don't completely go crazy and let my stomach do the talking and go to the fridge and just destroy, you know, everything in sight. So it's like every day I'm working towards something, and it's not necessarily that I'm saying that like every day I'm grinding. I'm just trying to say I've got something that I can work towards, and that feels good over time. You know, one day of doing something like that for yourself, or like working on having good habits, like clean your room, do it like, you know, sometimes I'll get into a little bit of like a manic kind of phase where I'll basically just completely clean up my entire office room, sort everything, you know, all sorts of little just junk I've got like built up. But you know, doing that consistently, it starts to add up, man, and then like things just start moving smoother, you know. So that's why I like the bulking and cutting for me, because I'm always on track towards something, and it keeps it interesting, you know. 1 month I might look like this, and then 6 months down the line, especially with a haircut, you know, somebody who I talk to all the time might walk up behind me, not even recognize me. And that's, for me, that's just fun. But a real tangible benefit, which I think a lot more lifters need to take into account, is the fact that they need to look at themselves and think, all right, have I made any progress in any way over the last 6 months? Am I a different lifter now than I was at the beginning of the year? In any capacity. I'm not saying you have to be, you know, 30 pounds bigger, but in just any capacity. And in the lifting, there's a few, right? You've got basic just strength, size, leanness if you're trying to diet down, or a little bit earlier into the curve of like getting into working out, you've got just getting more locked in, like getting more consistent with your routine. That's as freaking sick of a goal as anything, because it's you know, it's always in relation to what your current level is, you know. So for me, if I've been used to like, you know, my 30 minutes of cardio daily, then especially right now with the dieting, right, I want to step it up. So now I'm bumping it up to an hour, you know, bump it up to an extra. Tonight was only 20 minutes post-workout because the gym closed at 9:30. I kind of forgot about that part. But like, you know, up in the cardio, getting a little bit more, you know, intense that way. That's what I'm trying to work on. But, you know, for somebody who is just getting into the gym, you know, they're trying to fit it into their weekly routine, then to go from like an average gym, what would the word be, appearance, we'll say, per week of like, you know, going from 2 times a week to like an average of 4 or 5 times a week, that's insane. That is freaking huge. So it's all about just trying to take yourself a little bit further than you are right now. And if you continue to do that, I mean, we've all seen the percentages and like the kind of motivating like Instagram posts where it's like 1% a day might not seem like much after one day. but after 1 year, you're 9,000,000% better. You know, like little things like that. And as cliche as all those like classic motivational like phrases and speeches are, they're cliche for a reason, because they get said so much because they're so freaking true. You know, it's like all the classic, you know, grass isn't green on the other side type situations, like that sort of shit. Like, there's some real wisdom in those words, you know, and it really only appears when you apply it to like some kind of situation that you're in. But, you know, insert some kind of phrase about like long-term small steps. You know, everybody started somewhere. I remember my earliest sort of memories about the working out were when I was before I weighed, like when I was like a kid, and I'd be messing around in the crawl space at my house, and my dad had put like all the dumbbells and some like barbells and plates up there just like for storage. I wonder I wonder if messing around with a 45-pound barbell when I was younger maybe planted a seed of what we're now looking at today. But, you know, who's to say? But what I'm trying to get at is, like, you know, time's a pretty powerful freaking thing. Sorry about that. And if you can start to ride that wave, before you know it, you're going to realize you've made some pretty decent distance compared to where you were even just like a few months ago. So what I'm getting at is, if you can tell things aren't necessarily going exactly how you want them to go, you're not as far as you want to be, then it's a little bit humbling. But the answer is not, okay, well, what's the best workout split I should do? What's the new program? It's, okay, you got to look at your own situation. Think, have I really been bringing it? Have I been doing my cardio? Have I been doing any cardio? Have I been getting enough sleep? Have I been drinking enough water? You know, if I were to go work out today and only drank like, you know, a liter of water all day until right now, that lift would have sucked. I've had like a gallon and a half, you know, plus enough electrolytes. So scale that up to however, you know, how much you weigh. But, you know, there's little things that like seem so insignificant. Like, did you get enough sleep? Are you just, you know, trying to keep yourself in a good headspace so that you can be productive and you don't have any random like nagging anxieties or things that you have been meaning to, or just whatever, you know, like all these tiny little things, they add up. So if you can look at your situation and think, okay, yeah, I mean, I've been going to the gym pretty consistently, but every time I go, I end up just talking to like the crew of guys I work out with, and we barely get anything done. It's like we do more talking than lifting. Then it sounds like you already know the answer, and you really just have to act on it. But if you can get yourself into a state of upping yourself, like upping the intensity, upping the consistency, upping your just overall like hype for what you're doing, then over the course of just a few months, you should start to notice something change. Be it you're locked into a dieting phase, you're down 10 pounds, you're starting to bulk up finally, you want to hit that 200 mark. Holy crap, I gained 10 pounds the last 3 weeks. Or no, the last 3 months. Holy crap. I should have been tracking my calories this whole time. Okay, nice. Or, you know, just little things like that, right? It's the glamour of the working out and like the being jacked and just being in shape. That's the pinnacle of the pyramid, right? Like going into the gym, having a pose down with the fancy lighting and everything else, that is the pinnacle of the pyramid. It would not exist if it wasn't for the whole support system underneath of the sleep and the diet and the recovery and sleep, the diet, the hydration, everything else that goes along with it. So if you can put more emphasis on giving yourself a good base of support, right? I mean, barring any, you know, current architectural feats, right? What was the biggest freaking building that there ever was for quite a while? You know, the dang pyramids, and they've got a pretty wide base. So I guess that's my little tip of the night. But I'm gonna have a very large, or actually 2 protein-focused meals, probably 50 grams of protein worth of egg whites, followed by maybe a top round steak for, I guess what you say is dinner, the last meal of the night. Get a good night's rest, wake up early for some cardio in the morning, and then just keep repeating this loop for the next couple, or not next couple of weeks, next, like, you know, 9-ish weeks. But either way, try to build up some momentum coming into this year. Don't let yourself get too soft if you're trying to diet through Christmas. And other than that, assuming you're watching this, I think you know what you're doing. I think you've got a good grasp on it already. You just got to make it happen. So I will see you for some back action tomorrow.